Hello, for those who want an update, I fixed my mic arm, so now I can do the second video recording. But anyways, today's going to be an interesting game, just because it's a little bit weird the way that it kind of played out. So in this case, I end up actually, if you saw the title, it's going to be a NUNU game. For much of the early game and a lot of stage 2, it's not really going to be a NUNU game until a lot later. And I'll tell you why when we get there. But if you look at my items, you look at my combination, I think what I'm thinking about playing this game is Varus and trying to play around Varus. That's just like the mindset you should think about. Because the stage 2 is going to be a little bit different, we're not going to spend too much time focusing on stage 2. Let's just see what augment I pick. I'll explain my decision, and then we're actually going to go into like a little bit of a NUNU guide because we don't have to focus too much on stage 2. Mentorship I think is good. Frosty Frontline is also good, but it's hard to play because you need the vertical frost. Unleash the Beast is really strong, so I'm keeping that option open. And then I roll into the last one, and Spoils of War. Now, Spoils of War is really good for two reasons. One, it drops you loot every round, and that loot is often in the form of gold, as well as sometimes it's item drops later in the game, as well as like duplicators. All of those are good whether you're playing reroll, whether you're playing around a 4 cost. Econ in this set is really important because the main set mechanic, the main interaction you have with the game is charms, which are right over here. Charms cost money, and if you're not interacting with charms, and you're not interacting with the main set mechanic, you're going to be at a deficit in the game, right? That's a whole aspect of the game that you have to focus on. So having econ is actually really important in this set, and matching your econ really well. So taking an augment like Spoils of War that gives me gold every turn and can establish me econ thresholds where I otherwise wouldn't is really important, so I like to take it a lot. So of the other options that are a little bit more forcing, if I want to play a generic towards a 4 cost, for example, even though Spoils of War is typically like a reroll focused board because you want to be strong early and then scale up with spoils and do all of that crazy shit, it's also, I find, really good for playing around 4 cost. So at this point in the game, I just decide I'm going to take spoils, and I slam a Last Whisper because I'm thinking I'm going to play like AD, right? Last Whisper somewhere on the noms over here. Anyways, let's go now, and completely, that's our early game. We'll come back to the game, right? We'll come back to the game in a second or two. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at some NUNU stats, right? So if you look at the augments, right? There's 2 augments here. Let's just go Sweet Tooth. What do you know? It's first. Sweet Tooth is the NUNU Hero Augment. That's what this game is going to turn into. Sweet Tooth Plus is what we're going to take. It's something that occurs a little bit later in the game. It happens only on stage 3-2, right? They starting last set, they added these plus augments. They give you the opportunity of taking a hero augment not on stage 2, but instead on stage 3. And in stage 3, they reward you by then giving you more copies of the unit. So when you take Sweet Tooth Plus, you get a NUNU 2-star. You get 3 copies of NUNU. That's why it places really high, and that's why the plus ones are usually better than the non-plus variations. It's just because giving you more NUNUs, a lot of times it's also skewed because you take it when you have more NUNUs. Like if you see Sweet Tooth Plus and you're already holding a NUNU, it's like, well, it's going to give me 3 NUNUs. I'm already halfway to NUNU 3. This is a really easy thing to take and play around. And that's what usually happens with Sweet Tooth Plus, which also helps skew the average to be a little bit higher. That being said, Sweet Tooth I think is the best hero augment. It has been dropping in stats recently just because I think a lot of people are hard forcing it and starting to iron out, like a lot of those bad NUNU spots are turning into situations where it's not good to take it, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, Sweet Tooth is broken. They take it when they have 0 NUNUs and 0 NUNU items, and things go really bad, right? So the average is dropping by a lot, but it's still averaging above a 4, and I still think it's one of the best and strongest hero augments if you have the spot for it. Now, in terms of the team build, there's 2 main builds. There's one that's a little bit worse than the other, but one of them is just you play vertical bees, right? You play 5 Honeymancy, you play your NUNU, and you carry either Kog'Maw or Vigor, whichever one you're closer to hitting. You're going to be rolling on level 6 probably because you're going for NUNU, so a lot of times you're playing around Kog'Maw, and then you could just level and you can play an extra Bastion, right? Usually you want to stack Bastions to make the NUNU as strong as possible. And then in the backline, you'll just play something like a Hunter, right, to help out your Kog'Maw. That's going to be your main damage dealer. Or you can play around Vigor and level for mages and play Vigor. This was like a more archaic way of playing it. I think the more optimized version, if you look in the stats, 3 Honeymancy, Sweet Tooth does better. And I think that's because you can drop some of the units that you're not playing, and then you have a higher cap of just once you hit the NUNU 3, you can play towards like Vertical Bastion and Vertical Hunter. Which just gives you a little bit more opportunities. Sorry, I'm looking for Twitch. And one more Bastion. Let's put Tarek. You can play something like this. where you can still find like either Blitzcrank, or if you have Vigor items already, you can put Vigor in, right? Like one of these extra Honeymancy units to get 3 Honeymancy, and instead you're playing it similar to like a Kog'Maw reroll, where you're then playing Kog'Maw as well as some of these Bastion units. Stacking Bastion on Nunu is really important because Nunu's going to scale their HP. That's the whole point of the NUNU Hero Augment. We'll read it in a second, but basically it scales up HP and it makes the Nunu like really, really broken. And then they do their damage is also scales off their HP, which is something important to note, right? So if we go here and we read Sweet Tooth, strongest Nunu gains 200% health. Sorry, it gains 200 health. Oh, does it also give you health more? No, it gives you the same health, right? It gives you 200 health. You gain a 2% damage amp per 100 health, so you do more damage per health. Their ability also scales with their health. So now there's going to be a health ratio next to their ability instead of just an AP ratio. So everything scales with health, and the Nunu gains health for every time they kill. So it's a very feast or famine. If you have a Nunu early and you stab the Nunu by eating a bunch, then the Nunu's going to keep gaining health, and then at one point the Nunu's just going to be absolutely fucking busted. And that's like the really, really, really important part about this, that your Nunu is going to be scaling into late game, and that's what makes it really broken. Whenever a unit or a reroll scales into late game, that's what makes it stand out amongst many of the other rerolls. That's part of why Syndra is broken, because she scales with the amount of cast that she does. So on stage 5, stage 6, your Nunu is going to be an absolute demon because it's been eating all game if you have a good spot for Nunu, and then it's just going to do a shit ton of damage, right? That's the idea. In terms of items for it, the items are a little bit weird. I'm just using Sweet Tooth here. Sweet Tooth and Sweet Tooth Plus. I'm just picking the one that has more stats on it, so Sweet Tooth in this case. I think it's always Warmogs, right? Because Warmogs, if you read the item description, it gives you a percentage maximum health. So not only does it give you 600 health, which is a straight up damage amp because of the way NUNU Hero Augment works, it also gives percentage maximum health. So every bite that the Nunu does now counts as 12% more. It helps you do more damage in general. Everything scales off health with Nunu now. So what you should be thinking about is health, 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 health. So definitely Warmogs, right? If you can manage, it's always a Warmogs, right? After that, the items become a little bit messy, right? I see a lot of people going Bloodthirster Archangels. I don't think it's Bloodthirster Archangels. I think Bloodthirster makes sense. Bloodthirster gives AP, which scales the ability cast, right? So, you know, it obviously helps out a bunch. So definitely Bloodthirster, sure, I'm down. Make Bloodthirster if you really want to, right? The thing is, it also gives a percentage health shield, so it gives a 25% max health shield, and if Nunu's scaling their HP, makes sense to make Bloodthirster. 100%, sure. I don't believe in it, but that's because, in my head, I would rather make Dragonclaw Crown Guard, right? When Nunu has a lot of HP, Dragonclaw is gonna heal as much of a Bloodthirster, if not more, right? Or Dragonclaw Redemption, because these heal based on percentage of maximum health. Every 2 seconds, you heal 5% max health. It also gives your unit 9% max health. Remember what we were talking about? Max health, scaling, all of Nunu's abilities, damage amp. That's what we want. We want this scaling. And then I'd probably make like an AP item like Crown Guard. Like, I like these items more. It's not just because they're on the top of the list. To me, it always made sense to make Crown Guard as a Nunu item, because Crown Guard gives you health, gives you armor, gives you AP, and then you gain a max health shield at the combat start, and then when it expires, you gain ability power. Those are both things that really help out this Nunu to go like infinite and do a bunch of damage. Now, that being said, I'm not sure what the actual BIS is. I don't know what the best items are. I've seen many guides say it's Bloodthirster Archangels. I do not believe in Bloodthirster Archangels. I think when you put Bloodthirster here, it still says that you need to make the other items, right? It says Dragonclaw is good, and then it says not Warmogs. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, like Archangels is just always plus Delta. I definitely don't think it's Archangels, but you know, I digress. Maybe it is. We'll see when stats adjust more. It's still early in the set. Things are getting adjusted. You know, obviously we gotta figure that stuff out a little bit later. But anyways, that's like the guide at the beginning. Now we're gonna resume with watching the VOD. We basically skipped all of stage 2, and we're just gonna continue watching it at the start of stage 3. So right now, what you should know, we didn't scout, but there is one Kog'Maw reroll player for sure. There is a Kog'Maw reroll player. So I'm not here trying to play Kog'Maw reroll. I have 2 Kog'Maws, sure. I'm econ maxing, right? I have so much money. The reason I have so much money is not because I'm win streaking. It's because Spoils of War, right? This Nomsui upgrade, as well as 2 Bastion in my front line, I've basically been farming gold. This is why Spoils of War is really strong. It's even stronger for reroll comps, because when you're playing a reroll comp, Spoils of War has the chance to drop a lesser duplicator. So not only do you reroll early to be strong early, The stronger you are, the more units you kill, the more spoils you get. You reestablish your econ, so you're giga rich. You hit everything. You keep cashing out. You get duplicators, so you're guaranteed to hit. Everything works out wonderfully with Spoils of War. So I'm a big fan of it. I take it as often as I can. I like to play around Spoils of War. That is me as a person, right? Here, like I said before, I was playing around Varus originally. My plan was, okay, there's a Kog'Maw reroller. I'm going to play my strongest board right now. I'm going to econ up with Spoils of War. And then once I hit level whatever, I'm going to play like Blasters Varus. That was my thought process this game. I was like, I'm going to play Blasters Varus. It'll be fine. Right, let's play around Blasters Varus. I look at my items here. I have my Varus items right over here. And I decide, okay, I'm going to make Warmogs and Protector's Vow. I'll put on the NUNU because I'm probably going to sell NUNU in a turn or two just because it is a... I'm going to be playing around Varus, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're going to see what happens in exactly one turn when we see our next augment. Now, the game just dropped me a bunch of Warmogs. Or a bunch of belts. So I didn't have anything to make except Warmogs, Protector's Vow. I could have made like Redemption, Sunfire Cape, but I think both those items are not necessarily good. Redemption's really good late game, but it's not very good early game, so I don't like to slam it off rip. I'd rather slam Protector's Vow. So let's see what we get. Okay, so Sweet Tooth Plus. So I look at these two. Now I have a decision to make, right? Now there's a couple things about this. The first thing we should notice is well, 3s are crowd, not necessarily that great for me. I'm not going to be playing that many 3 costs, even if I do play around Varus. I'm going into a long think tank, right? I'm looking at my board. I'm looking at my spoils. I'm looking at this. I'm thinking really hard about this. Do I commit to NUNU reroll from here? Do I play Sweet Tooth Plus? That is the question. We have to look at it and we have to analyze it. As you can see, I'm probably talking to my chat as well because I play these games live. You can check me out on twitch.tv. You can also drop a follow, a like, a prime. All of those help me. I decided to just take it, right? As you can see, it dropped me 3 NUNUs. So it upgraded my NUNU to a NUNU 2. And I have Kog'Maw items. I sell instantly and I put them on the Kog'Maw. I'm down. I wanted to play this guy, but he didn't get sucked in. I just wasn't fast enough because I spent so much time thinking. But I just take NUNU. NUNU for NUNU. We'll go for it. Now, the reason I took it is because I have Warmogs already. I think Warmogs is the best NUNU item. My second item... I think Protector's Vow is pretty good. Protector's Vow, if you don't know, it gives a percentage maximum health shield. So it works similar to like a Crown Guard. It just doesn't give that much AP. Now, there is one problem though. I have a NUNU 2, which is really strong. But I also have a Kog'Maw 2. And guess what? Kog'Maw 2 is a little bit stronger. Right? This is the problem with Sweet Tooth that sometimes people run into, especially Stage 2, Stage 3. If you don't have 3 items on NUNU, the NUNU doesn't scale well. So I'm going to talk about it a bit later, but NUNU has to kill a unit to gain HP. It's very feast or famine. If the NUNU kills a bunch of units, gains a bunch of HP, then the NUNU is going to get to a point where they're doing an insane amount of damage, right? And when they start to do this insane damage, that's when it scales into late game. Because basically the NUNU is going to have like, you know, infinite HP. And infinite scaling. With the Warmogs, it's going to make it even more. And with a Declaw, it's going to make it even more. So the NUNU is going to be so tanky and so strong that then you reach these like insane boards that then it's like unbeatable. It's like an easy first, right? The reason you might not go first is because the same reason why with Syndra you might not go first sometimes. The scaling is all that matters, right? The NUNU has to get the kills. If you look here, my Kog'Maw has really good items. My Kog'Maw is killing all the units before my NUNU can kill the units because the NUNU is just not attacking fast enough. And then here we go. Spoils of War, Lesser Champ Duplicator. Easy peasy. Every single time. That's why I say Spoils of War is really good with rerolls. You get a Lesser Duplicator for free almost every single time. So I am very close to NUNU 3. I am contested. Hopefully I show the other guy. He's playing Kog'Maw Hunters. I feel bad for him in a way because like obviously... I just picked this NUNU augment because it was the best thing I could have hit. I had a Warmogs, so it was just unlucky. The game dropped me a bunch of belts. I had a NUNU already. I'm 5 out of 4 NUNUs now. I'm halfway there, and I have a lesser duplicator because I have Spoils of War. It's kind of like there's no reason not. This is a spot where even though it's not the beginning of the game, it wasn't the first plan that I had to play NUNU. This is a NUNU spot. This is what your NUNU spot should look like. This game is a guaranteed top 4. I'm telling you now, it will always be a guaranteed top 4. So there's a couple things though. Like I said, I'm actually too strong. my Kog'Maw is too strong, so my Nunu is not scaling as fast as she could. Or sorry, he could. I think Nunu's the guy. Sorry, whatever. I just use they. I'm not sure. I'm using they them pronouns for ambiguity because I'm not sure. But they're kind of good. They're kind of good only if they scale really hard. This is the guy I was talking about. This is the guy who was playing Kog'Maw reroll. He had the Runan's augment, which is like really good for Kog'Maw Jinx. And then he also had a Honeymancy +1. He has a lot of Nunus. He has more Nunus than me. But the thing is, 2 costs can support 2 units, and I'm going to have a lesser duplicator, so I should be fine to find him. Obviously, this guy's stronger than me right now. The problem is, like I said, as you can see, every single fight, my Kog'Maw is doing more damage than my Nunu. I think once they nerf Kog'Maw, it might help out Sweet Tooth a little bit. This is the bigger problem with this, is that, like, I need the Nunu to do more damage. I need the Nunu to kill. But they're not killing. So here I'm going to roll a little bit. I just want to get some upgrades. I'm playing an extra Vanguard. I'm playing 3 Honeymancy. I think eventually I'll play 5 Honeymancy, and that's a mistake of mine. I looked at the stats afterwards, like to make this video so I can explain to you in a guide format what the best options are. And I realized after that 5 Honeymancy isn't as good as 3 Honeymancy in pushing levels for other units. So obviously, this game's going to be a little bit less cap or less high cap than it could have been. I roll a little bit deeper here. The only reason I'm rolling a little bit deeper was because I really want to spike to make sure that my Nunu's trying to kill stuff. When I think Honeymancy helps out with the damage, because especially being a frontline unit, you get so much damage buff from having the bees. So I'm kind of down for it. But as you can see, I'm farming a lot of gold, so I'm not worried about dropping my econ. Right, I have so much money and I have spoils of war, so I will reestablish that money at one point in the game. I'm not too worried about econ this game because I'm playing a reroll and I'm already in a decent spot, and I have this hero augment. Hopefully I can show the Nunu stacks at one point. You'll see that the stacks are very low. So this is a whole stage of stacking. Hopefully I can show it. Maybe I'll hover it. Please hover it. This is a VOD, so I can't actually hover it right now. Hopefully I show it at one point. See, this is what I was talking about Protector's Vow. It gives a max health shield and it gives armor and MR. So it seems like it's pretty good for Nunu. As you can see, I only have 140 stacks. So 140 stacks, divide that by 35. I only bit like what? Like less than 5 people or something like that. Like it's not that much. It's very little. 140 is like 4 bites. My Nunu killed 4 units in all of stage 3. Isn't that that's very little? Right, when like you want to kill like at least like 2 units per fight. You want to be like 10 units, right? I want this to be at like 350, right? Ideally, like your Nunu kills 2 units every single fight, if not more, right? I killed nothing. I killed a total of 4 units the entire stage. That is very little. My stacks are horrible, so this Nunu is very far behind now. I have awkward items here. I decided to just itemize Vigor. Now, this is what I was saying before, right? You can either itemize towards Kog'Maw or itemize towards Vigor. I like to itemize Vigor because Vigor synergizes with the Nunu because Nunu's doing AP damage. So it just worked out that I have all these items split like this, but I really wanted to make Shiv to help out the Nunu. Because Shiv will reduce the magic resist, so it'll make it a little bit easier for the Nunu to get some kills off. Now, that being said, my spot isn't necessarily the greatest, but it's not that bad either, right? It's pretty okay. I hit Raid Boss though. Isn't that crazy? Now, Raid Boss is giga insane for Nunu because guess what it says? Your strongest Bastion gains 20% health. Remember when we were talking about maximum health? Now I'm only 1 Nunu off, by the way. So all I need to do is I just have to roll for a Nunu. I use my duplicator because this also gives you a Nunu, by the way. I buy the component anvil because I'm trying to make Declaw here. Right, I really want to make Declaw to help out my Nunu. Like I said, I don't make Bloodthirster. I personally don't believe in Bloodthirster. I don't think it's essential. I don't know the exact stats on it. I don't know how broken it is. But to me, it's not that necessary. I'd rather have Declaw. Obviously, the Protector's Vow, I want to exchange it at one point for something better. But, you know, we'll see what we hit when we get there. Now, this game was kind of silly, I think. I don't exactly remember what my placement was at the end. But as you can see, there's a couple optimization mistakes. Now, number one mistake right now is that I was playing around 5 Honeymancy rather than playing around 3 Honeymancy with extra Bastions. Especially with Raid Boss, I want to play as many Bastions as possible. So the board is just a little bit awkward to fit in. Now that I have NUNU 3 with 3 items, my NUNU is going to do more damage. So I will get a lot more bites in there, but it's just a little bit awkward for the last stage. As you can see, I'm only at 175 total health. I got 1 kill from the NUNU. I keep getting kill stolen by the Viger and the Kog'Maw. So I'm not scaling my NUNU very well in this whole game. Because I'm not scaling the NUNU well, I'm probably not playing for first here. Right? There's a very low chance I get a first in this game. The main reason this comp is so strong and it goes first all the time when you're playing it in your lobbies is because the NUNU has either 3 items or has a lot of power and just kills everything. It just kills everything. It gets so many stacks. It's also really important, especially when you had Sweet Tooth in stage 2. In stage 2, the NUNU kills every single unit because nobody can manage to kill the NUNU. Especially if you start with like an early NUNU 2 and you take Sweet Tooth, like you have a really insane spot for it. Here I hit Raid Boss, so that's the only reason my damage is kind of up to snuff. I didn't get a lot of bites in, but I got an extra 20% health because I hit the Gigabyss. Sweet Tooth with Raid Boss, that's like Exodia. So I hit Exodia, I just probably can't get a first. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. My Kog'Maw is too strong. You know, the Kog'Maw too bad, you know. My bad. Oops. Shouldn't have made Kog'Maw 2. I didn't know. I wasn't thinking about that. As you can see, that fight, my NUNU got no scaling. Still at 175. That entire fight, the NUNU didn't kill a single unit. All the units that died was because of my Kog'Maw and my Viger. Oops. Like I said before, my bad. I don't even have Hunter in, right? I'm trying, like, I don't know what to do. I don't have Kog'Maw 3. The guy just pumping out damage. Like little guy's going nuts. Cute little bee dude. He's just going nuts. Like, what am I supposed to do about it? But anyways, I feel I hit so many Kog'Maws. I'm gonna play around Kog'Maw 3 this game. I just take Viger for Viger because I don't really need another item. I would like anti-heal at one point, but it's not necessary right now. This could turn into an anti-heal item. I want to econ up. I'm not gonna roll for Kog'Maw 3 here, because I'm only 1 off. You know, I'll hit it or I'll find a duplicator later with Spoils of War. It is what it is. I need to level and play more Bastions because with Raid Boss, it also transfers extra armor when other Bastions die. So it works out to have a lot of Bastions with Raid Boss because it will just keep cycling extra armor onto the NUNU. This guy, look, see, he has a NUNU anyways. This guy has like the most insane setup, by the way. But I just like Giga Griefed him because I got the NUNU Hero Augment. Like, he has Runans, extra Honeymancy, and Bees. The Bee Augment. That's actually really, really strong. But he does not have a chance against NUNU Hero Augment. Right? I think for most of stage 4, and part of stage 5 also, this NUNU 3 is going to kill everybody. It's only like after that, like stage 6, where I'm trying to play for like the first, where not having the stacks is really, really going to make a noticeable difference. Natural to Kog'Maw 3. We're down. Sure. I'm looking around to scout. I think I'm going to buy it at the last second. Yeah, I'll just buy it now. Whatever. We just need to level for more Bastions. Ideally, we can make it to level 9 and play something like the board that I showed you with Diana and Frost. But it's a little bit difficult. I'm kind of... This is me zooming on screen talking about how I just hit Kog'Maw 3 even though I'm contested. And I feel bad for the other guy. You know, I always feel bad for other people because, like, when, like, you know, this is not even my fault. It's like the game kind of griefed that other guy. The other guy had such a good Kog'Maw spot. He started with a Kog'Maw, started with a Jinx, had, like, a good setup for it. And then out of nowhere, a random player just gets NUNU Hero Augment. You know, that's the game gave it to me. It didn't give me, if the game didn't give me NUNU Hero Augment, this would have been a Varus video. Right? This would have been another Varus video. And I would have talked about how I made it to Varus and whatever. My NUNU, I think, ate a little bit that fight. But like I said, this is the main problem I have with this comp. And I think that's why the stats are doing a little bit worse now. As people get better at playing around Kog'Maw and Viger, the NUNU does not scale. Right? I think early on in the set, when people didn't know what they were doing, like, nobody played around Kog'Maw, nobody played around Viger, and when you made this NUNU 3, the NUNU was, like, killing everything for all of stage 2, all of stage 3, and then it giga scaled. Excuse me. It's Treasure Armory. So it costs 1 gold to reroll here. So I'm trying to see what the best Radiant item is. Sunfire, no. Red Buff, no. Runans, no. QSS, no. Sterex, probably not. I I see Protector's Vow, I roll past it. Steadfast, no. That one's kind of okay, but no. I'm looking for like something that gives me a bunch of AP. I rolled past Rabadons, and you'll hear I rolled past Rabadons twice, by the way. But as you can see, I'm running out of gold, and the round's running out, so I just take Protector's Vow. Now, I think it was to take Rabadons, but Rabadons is kind of weird, because then my Nunu lacks some defensive stats. I think it was take Rabadons. There's not stats for it, though, is the problem. Right? If you go Sweet Tooth Nunu, and you go Radiant item, here, I'll show you what I mean. This is what I was seeing. I'll show you what I was seeing, and then you can tell me what if my decision was really bad. I was beating myself up on stream for this, because I think Rabadons was much better. So, Dragon's Will makes the most sense. Warmogs makes the most sense. There's not that many stats, because there's so few games played where you get a Radiant item on a Nunu. But this is what I saw. It said Earth's Archangels, like Archangels on Nunu, is plus Delta. So what I said to myself is like, okay, then Rabadons is probably bad as well. The difference is Radiant Rabadons, if I go on items, Rabadons, right? It gives a damage amp. So the ability power and the bonus damage probably would have made my Nunu scale really hard. And remember how all this time I'm talking about my Nunu isn't killing things and isn't scaling? This makes my Nunu like a one-shot demon. It makes them a little bit more glassy, but it would have been really strong on the Nunu, don't get me wrong. Now, I wasn't sure what the best thing is, right? In terms of the Radiant items, I really wanted Radiant Crown Guard. Like, I wanted Joksho. Like, this one's insane, right? Because you gain armor and you gain mana, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll take this one, right? It gives like ability power and mana. I thought Joksho was really good. I was down, like Rabadon's probably was the best item I could have hit, but I really was looking for Spark, right? Spark gives AP and it heals maximum health, and I was looking for Crown Guard. Where is it? Radiant Crown Guard. This one, Royal Crown Shield, because this one gives a bunch of AP, a bunch of armor, a bunch of health, gives a huge health shield, and gives extra ability power. Now, Bulwark's Oath doesn't give any AP, but it gives you a 50% max health shield that lasts 10 seconds, and then you gain armor and MR. So I figured this would make my Nunu the most tanky and help out my board the most out of the items that I saw, especially when I was running low on gold. Now, I should have probably taken Rabadons. Let me know what you think. I'm just a little bit worried that Rabadons would have made my Nunu like kind of die, because sometimes that happens. The thing is, I have Raid Boss, so it's a little bit weird. Like Raid Boss, I probably would have been fine to take Radiant Rabadons, but I really wanted something that gives AP. I think, personally, my interpretation is that I should have taken Rabadons. I think immediately after taking this and seeing the amount of stacks that I have, because Rabadon scales the healing as well as scales the max damage that the Nunu does, right? This is a scary situation. This guy is Swain 3, playing around Hui carry. Radiant Rabadons on Radiant Archangels on Swain, which is actually good on Swain, I'm pretty sure, because Swain scales so much off his AP. And then he has this Shapeshifter's augment that makes your Shapeshifters gain health every single turn. Now, I think I win this round, but he'll be a demon later once he upgrades the rest of his board. Especially since the Swain is scaling his HP as well. It's kind of scary. But this was a fight that I was thinking of, right? Like, that's a fight where I think if I had Rabadons, I don't know if the Nunu lives long enough or if the Nunu just dies. Because the extra health shield that you get from... The extra health shield is basically like 50% health. It's literally like having 50% more health, right? In terms of tankiness. So if my Nunu has like 5,000, 6,000 health, they have to chew through 3,000 health before they even start to do a single shred of damage on the Nunu. Right? Now, obviously, it goes away after 10 seconds, but it's still to say, right? Like, my Nunu has 5,000 health now. So this Radiant item gives me, effectively, 2,500 health of a shield to play around. That seems kind of nuts. That gives my board a lot of time to work around with. That's what I mean by, like, I would lose that much tankiness stats, right? I'm basically blocking 2,000 damage from a Syndra, from a Cassiopeia, from this shit. I'm blocking 2,000 damage. That's like a lot of damage. That's why I was thinking like I probably want a tank item. Ideally, my first pick was Crown Guard. That's what I was really rolling deep for, because the Crown Guard would have given me the same amount of shield, but then would have given me a bunch of AP instead of defensive stats. You know, it is what it is. But as you can see, because my stacks are so low, the Rabadon's extra damage would have made it so that like in a lot of these fights, I wouldn't get kill stolen. See, like right there, that's a bite that didn't go through. That's a bite where he was left with 1 HP, and then the Kog'Maw stole the kill. If I had Rabadons, that would have translated to an extra scaling for my Nunu. So, you know, I think it was Rabadons. Like, you know, I think it was Rabadon. It's like, I think in some fights, Rabadons makes way more sense, but in other fights, having this makes my board way more, gives me the win, like that round. I think Rabadons is the greedy play, right? Rabadons is like, if I get Rabadons, it's better because late game, my Nunu will have more effective HP because I'll scale more, and my Nunu will just do more damage, right? That's what I was thinking. Here I level because I found a Bastion in my shop, by the way. So I break my Econ to level because I get to play 4 Bastion here. And I want to stack vertical Bastion. But that's what I was trying to say, right? My thought process at the time was very narrow side. Like, the strongest item right now is this one because it makes my Nunu impossible to kill. But I think in order to get like a first this game, like a first in this lobby, I needed Rabadons. And I don't think I go first this lobby. I'm pretty sure I don't go first, but we'll see how it ends up. See, like here, like if I had Rabadons here, like this fight was already like not very close, right? Just because like I got overwhelmed. But if I had like Rabadons wouldn't have made a difference here. But my I think if I place my Nunu in front of this guy, that this guy got killed before he stacked up, maybe I can win. We'll see. But anyways, there's not enough stats on it. We'll see later. Obviously, like, you know, if you come back to this video in a month, I'm sure there'll be enough stats for Radiant items on Nunu that we'll be able to figure out exactly what's the best. But as you can see here, like, you see the amount of damage that the Nunu does is so little because I have like the HP, but I don't have that much HP scale, and I don't have that much I have literally no AP items. Like, none of my items give any AP. And I think that's a major issue. Like, even a Bloodthirster gives 20 AP. Like, it's crazy. And I rolled so much. I should have just taken Rabadons, honestly. Here, I don't know. It's probably like some tank item. Spark or Steadfast, I think. Because their armor gets transferred to my Nunu, so I kind of just want to feed everything into the Nunu. Yeah, let's just do that. It's okay. It's double shred. Who cares? Spatula, not important. I have no extra component. I can maybe try and go level 9 and fit in something crazy. But we'll see. I think there's a lot of boards that are really strong. Like the Syndra board, I think I always lose to Syndra. Because Syndra is going to snipe my backline. Like Syndra Nami, like this board. I'm pretty sure it's going to snipe my backline, and then my Nunu is going to get overwhelmed. Because I'm relying so much on Kog'Maw for damage. This guy has Eldritch Beast as well. He hit School Mascot as his last augment. It's actually insanely broken, so... I think if this guy gets to 7 Eldritch, I lose. Always. Because it's just too strong. But anyways, these guys are still alive. That's great. I win against this. Get a little bit of scaling, hopefully. And this is what I was saying, right? When you get to stage 6, that's when you start to notice that you don't have enough scaling. So right now, I feel like I'm strongest in the lobby. I don't beat the multi-striker player. The Syndra player, if they get to 7 Eldritch, I don't beat them. So I'm just crossing my fingers. I'm like, I want this guy to die. This guy, I think I always beat. This Galio can't chew through my Nunu as fast as I can chew through everything else. So it's just a matter of, does the Eldritch guy hit 7 Eldritch? That's what position I am in now. Obviously, my board would be a lot stronger. Let's say I drop this, and I play Hunters. With the Bastions, then my Kog'Maw all of a sudden is going to start to do a lot more damage with 4 Hunter. Right now I have 0 Hunter. So, you know, that's what I mean by optimization. I was more on the lines of that I needed 5 Honeymancy in this game. You definitely don't. I think it's always dropped to 3 Honeymancy. You might even be able to drop to no Honeymancy, but I think 3 is good. Having just the base trade in. As I was talking about, I don't think this guy can beat me. We'll see. You see that health shield? Damn, we love those health shields. Oh, it's going to be close, actually. Ah, he beat me. That's bad. Do I go 4th here? We'll see. It's definitely a top 4, right? Like, I feel like I played this game okay. I think, not knowing that I can drop out of 5 Honeymancy, but I have Vigor items, so it's kind of chalked. Like, I kind of have to play this. I have a duplicator, so I can play for Vigor 3. So, I'm running into the situation of, do I roll for Vigor 3 or do I go 9? I'm kind of deciding on going 9 because I'm a little bit far off of Vigor. And I don't know if Vigor 3 really helps me without Mage, because my Vigor items aren't particularly great either. I'd rather get in Hunter for Kog'Maw, because I have more faith in Kog'Maw being able to clutch out some of these fights. This is the multi-striker guy, so this is going to be a little bit awkward here, but we'll see how it goes. It just comes down to, like, basically, like, I don't have enough DPS before the Winsu stacks become too high on this Kalista. I think that's the main issue. Here I'm able to kill the Kassadin earlier, but it just comes down to if my, yeah, see, I just don't have enough damage to chew through it, right? That's a Radiant Rabadon's diff. I think if I have Radiant Rabadons... Actually, my Nunu probably dies with Radiant Rabadons. But it's just like a scaling diff, right? If my Nunu had more stacks on him to do more damage, then I do more damage, I win out. Eldritch Emblem is bad for me. I should take it for sure. Was it on my side? Oh, God. That's a big mistake. I should have denied that. Oh... I don't think I could have denied it though. It was on. It wasn't on my side, right? By the time the carousel went around, that's leaning towards the other guy's side. So I'm pretty sure I can't do that anyways. See, this is the 4 cost turns into 5 cost. If you saw one of my other games where somebody had a Briar 3, that's how they had it, by the way. Oh, this is not good. I needed to buy this guy. Yeah, because now this guy's 7 Eldritch for free. Fuck. But I don't think I could have stopped it, right? Now I never beat him because he's 7 Eldritch, right? Oh, maybe I beat him. Oh, it's going to be close, actually. But he has no Briar in. Oh, I actually beat him this turn. I don't beat him by enough. Oh, if I denied the Eldritch Emblem, I'd probably beat him anyways, and I go first. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. I need a combat. I need like a combat charm, so I need to roll here. I need to roll for a combat charm. Roll for a combat charm. It's really important. Roll for a combat charm. That's not a combat charm though. That's a good upgrade though. Roll one more. Yeah, Dragon Claw. That's good enough. I think that's good enough. Oh, I just level up this guy. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think I beat this guy, though, now. It was really close last fight, but now I spiked a lot, and this guy didn't really spike that much. But it would suck if it ends up being a third. Yeah, I definitely beat this guy because this guy didn't get any strong. Oh no, this is a clone. This is a clone. That's why. Yeah, the Eldritch guy beat him. So now, but he's 7 Eldritch. I should hold this Briar. Does he already have a Briar? I should hold this Briar. He's 7 Eldritch now. Level 8, school mascot. Gets an extra item. I think if I optimize my board better and I had more stacks, I win this lobby 100% of the time. But I'm pretty sure I go second here because I think that last fight was just lucky. Because the Eldritch Beast didn't snipe my backline. If the Eldritch Beast jumps and then he turns around and he hits the Kog'Maw, I think I just lose. Because last time the Eldritch Beast, I dealt with it pretty early. So it wasn't that big of a deal. This I can't really use. I need a combat charm. I need a combat charm. Don't get hoed. I need a combat charm. I need a combat charm. Just roll for a combat. I'll roll for a combat and sell the Vigor. Sell the Vigor, roll for a combat. That's what I should be doing. Yeah, that's good enough. Sure. Any combat is fine. You just need a combat. Yeah, sure. Red buff, red buff, red buff, red buff. Anti-heal. Red buff, red buff. Oh, wait. I have anti-heal this fight anyways. Yeah, that's fine. Good decision. Yeah, this comes down to where the Eldritch Beast jumps. Like, if he snipes my backline, I just lose. Because I don't think Nunu can carry it. Oh, he has a Briar 1 now. He didn't snipe my backline. Oh, no, it's just the Syndra. The Syndra just got me. I don't know what changed on his board. If it was like Karma 1 to Karma 2, or just optimizing his board better. But it's a second. I definitely made mistakes. I talked about them a lot this game, right? Playing 5 Honeymancy was kind of a mistake. I could have easily done more damage with 4 Hunter. Playing around not 4 Bastion for a little bit. The Nunu, I think Radiant Rabadon scales me harder. I'm not sure if it would have been better, but I think it definitely increases my damage by a lot. It makes my Nunu established as a proper carry. But yeah, that's the NUNU Hero Augment game. Hopefully that was fun, and hopefully that was enjoyable. I had fun making this video, and hopefully like it was somewhat useful. I know it's a little bit longer because I did the whole guide part, and you know, I'm a little bit gassed out. But make sure to like and subscribe if you like this content, and thank you for watching if you're watching. Have a great day, and see you around. Bye bye.